was an interesting night. Hope you survived. It's about 7 a.m. We've got about 4 hours left until we hit the mainland. Yeah, this is our bed for the night. We rented a cushion, and Lucas slept on the ground, and he actually did pretty good. It was hard to get him down for bed, but eventually around 10 he fell asleep and then slept until about 6, I think. Now we're gonna go explore. My voice is very high. We're arriving in Mazatlan.
Okie dokie. I'm back in the van, as you can see. I guess same process as getting onto the boat. I'm down here in the cargo area. I'm gonna drive the van off the boat. Ashley and Lucas had to walk onto the land, and I'm gonna pick him up at the terminal, I guess, and then we'll have to find a spot for tonight, figure out where we're going. But we arrived safely on mainland Mexico. Look who I found!
We made it!
You made it? Did you make it off the ferry, buddy?
Yeah.
You made it off the ferry, all right?
Made it off the ferry. Kind of glad it's over. We're reunited back with our home.
Hola, buen día. Gracias. So, there was the first toll booth of the toll road that we're driving. There were some reports the last few months that the toll booths have been taken over by locals, that you could haggle with them how much toll you want to pay. There was not much haggling there, looked very official. By the way, we left Mazatlan and we're driving to San Blas, which is about another 3 hours from here. Landscape is mountainous around us, lush green, and so far smooth drive.
After traveling Baja for the past month, we finally made it to mainland Mexico, or what we thought was the real Mexico. I'm not gonna lie, we were both a bit nervous about this part of the trip after hearing some of the horrific stories from friends and family. We noticed right away that the traffic rules were quite different here. We also put some plans in place about what we would do when driving through the small villages and if we got pulled over. We were both nervous and excited of the adventures to come.
Good morning from San Blas, Nayarit. We entered a new state yesterday. Unfortunately, the camera died as we were driving in, but it was beautiful. It was really cool. The town is a typical Mexican, or for me, that's the real Mexico. A small town, cobblestone roads, little stores everywhere. So we just explored the little town yesterday once we got to the campground, and then for sunset we went to the beach, and then the nightmare started. We kind of knew about tiny little bugs all over the place in this town. We read about it on iOverlander, and they were not lying. There were tiny little bugs all over the place. So it was, and I don't even think they sting. They just, I don't know, they nibble and bite on you, and it's crazy. So we we just packed up and we're now leaving. We're driving about an hour and a half, no wait, 2 hours and a half further south to Sayulitos, something like that. We may be pronouncing it wrong. It's close to Puerto Vallarta, and we hope there's no bugs here, because other than the bugs, the town, the campground was really nice. A little rundown, but whatever. So we're hoping it's gonna get better in the next town.
Sayulita is a small village on Mexico's Pacific coast, just a short drive north of famous Puerto Vallarta.
So we made it to Sayulita, and we ended up parking at a campground, or staying at a campground, because it took us forever to find a parking spot. So it's $25 a night. We'll stay there a night and then find street camping tomorrow.
Hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Eh? Ok, muy bien.
It has a very laid-back vibe, and we enjoyed a few days hanging by the beach and exploring the town with its markets and tiendas.
Sayalito.
After our first night at the campground, we ended up finding some street parking in a quiet alley right next to the beach. We spent another day enjoying the Mexican beach culture, playing at the local beach bars in the sand and cooling off in the water. And after a full day at the beach, we ended the last night with a traditional Italian dinner.
Good morning! We had a great time in Sayulita, and now we are off to Tequila for some tequila tasting. Looking forward to it. It's only about a 3.5-hour drive, so not too bad, and it should be a lot of fun.
We've been driving now for about an hour again, and we just started to climb up into the mountains. It's been an easy drive so far, great road conditions. We drove along the coast, and now we're driving inland. All of the inland, or most of the inland, is high elevation, and we should have chillier nights again and chillier daytime temperatures than the last few days, where it was really hot and humid during the day. After our initial climb over the Sierra Madre Mountains, the landscape around us started to become drier and more arid. The road itself was for the most part a beautiful highway winding through the hilly countryside. The closer we got to our final destination, the more we saw blue agave plants lining the hillsides, which was the main ingredient of the famous beverage we were about to taste. We managed to navigate the narrow streets into the historic center of Tequila and found a parking spot near the main square. Okay, we are in Tequila, Jalisco, the state of Jalisco. We parked the van and started walking just a few blocks down the street. Now we're at the
City center.
Plaza Mayor, I don't know, the city center. And we have drinks in our hands and just walking around, exploring the streets. There's live music everywhere, there's a lot of tourists. And we just booked a tequila tasting tour at one of the local distilleries. I don't even know the name. Do you know the name?
No.
Anyways, so...
But it's 15 tastings apparently, and a tour of the city, and then an explanation of the process of how they make tequila.
Ga. Ga.
Oh, that was a good guy. So we're on our tour, our tequila tour, and our first stop is this agave field. And everything's in Spanish, so I really don't know what, the details, but I do know that there's a volcano that way.
So?
Now we are at a tequila factory where we thought someone jacked our cups, but it was just hiding in the stroller, so all is good.
Tequila is made from blue agave, which is a spiky succulent and native plant to Mexico. After the spike leaves are removed and the core is split in half, it is steam baked in an oven to convert the starchy sap into fermentable sugar. After cooking, the piña is shredded to release its sugary juice. The fermented sugar in the agave juice can now be converted into alcohol using yeast and water. Fermentation can be in open or closed barrels of wood or stainless steel and typically lasts 24 to 96 hours. To make tequila, the beer-like wash must be distilled at least twice. Only after the second distillation, the product may be called tequila, and usually has an alcohol content ranging from 55 to 75%. As a last and optional step, the clear tequila that results from the distillation is filled in oak barrels to age. Over time, the tannins in the wood soften the spirit and add color and flavor.
Good morning. We just woke up, stayed a successful night at the, I believe, elementary school that we found in our overlander and that a local policeman recommended to us too. We weren't sure when we got here because it was still pretty central. There were signs posted. But it is a weekend and no one bothered us. Now we're packing up real quick and then we're driving 15 minutes out of town to a trailhead, and then we're going to make a hike up some cool looking waterfalls.
Good morning. So we are off to a hike to some waterfalls. It's supposed to be a local hike. Going there is about 45 minutes, and then coming back might be a challenge. So we'll see how it goes, but it should be really pretty. Just descending down to the falls.
Just got to the first feature on this hike, which is a big pool. I'm not quite sure what it is used for, but it's holding a lot of water, and it's fed by a kind of a pipeline that's coming up from the top of the mountain. Right, buddy? Why? Wasser, huh?
So we made it to a point where we can kind of see the waterfalls, but it's extremely steep, and so doing that with Lucas is kind of pushing it and tough on Sebastian. So we're seeing them now, a little sliver, and now we're gonna head back, maybe do a little drone footage so we can see what it looks like all together, and then we are going to head to our last harvest toast in Guadalajara.